everybody. Welcome once again to Taku Katsu, the anime review podcast where we watch the first episode of an anime, old or new, and give our thoughts on what we like about it, what we don't like about it, and if we'll keep watching. Joined, as always, my great co-host. I've got Patrick.
Hello, I am your Miyano for today. Wait, I think I believe I picked the right one. The dark-haired one, right? I'm the dark-haired one. Yes.
And Cori.
But he's just a boy. He's just a boy.
Yes, I am.
Those slender features and that soft skin. He's just a boy.
And I am Vicky, a Fujoshi that lives in the dark. We, this week, have watched Sayuki to Miyano. Just an anime where, boys living school life, trading manga, and along the way finding, revelations about themselves. I'll go with Cori first. What do you like about Sayuki?
Man, I was really hoping to go last. Okay, so first off, real quick. Redefine for me the difference between a Fudanshi and a Fujoshi.
Oh, okay. A Fudanshi is a rotten boy, and a Fujoshi is a rotten girl.
There we go. Okay, because the dude said it, and I was like, but you're a girl. I mean, you're a dude. No. Anyway, I got confused.
He was like, Fudanshi live in the dark.
Yeah. I wrote that down somewhere. I wrote that quote down somewhere.
I have that memorized.
Yeah. Fudanshi lives in the shadows is specifically how it's translated.
Oh, yep.
Real quick. Funimation does not have this on Crunchyroll, and I'm mad about it because I have to watch like 25 ads.
Wow.
I was so upset because I literally was like, okay, this is on Crunchyroll. Nope. And I've had this problem at least once before where an anime was on Funimation, but not Crunchyroll. Mm-hmm. And Crunchyroll's like, we have it all. I'm like, fuck, you don't. Mm-hmm. I don't pay you money for you not to have everything, you monopolistic motherfuckers. Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
Sponsor us.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Yeah, you want the real. Come on, let's go. All right, so in all seriousness, this show was actually, and I mean this kind of like a pun, but I don't. It was very straightforward. Like, it was so much just a romance about two dudes. Like, it was just that. It was just that. Like, we like, I made the joke about the other show being super gay. Mm-hmm. This show was not super gay. Like, for as gay as the characters definitely are going to be and have yet to not realize that they're 100% gay, just not like bi-curious. This is a show about dudes who fall in love with each other eventually. And it's super straightforward. Like, yeah, just like it hits every single beat that you're gonna hit. Like, it's just like boom, 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 done. Episode over. And you're like, yep. This is a show about dudes about to hang out and until they kiss each other. Like, that is what the show is.
It is very, as you said, part of the pun, straightforward in how they're presenting it. They're like, this is a romance.
Super straightforward. Super straight. It's straightforward, but, gay. There are no women in this show at all. I don't think I saw one in the first episode.
No, I did not see.
Not a one.
But you know what? I didn't notice that because of...
I didn't notice it either.
I got halfway through the show, and it because again, after we watched Scar the Prey Tear, I established that was a rule of this show. Like, if there are no women early on, it's for the ladies. It's only, that's all it's for. And not only did Scar the Prey Tear have like one lady, this show had zero, and they could have had a nurse. They could have had a teacher. They could have had a parent. They had all dudes all the time. They haven't even established that it's an all-boys school, but I am almost certain it's an all-boys school.
I was like, wait a minute. That would make sense?
They never say that. It's just...
Yeah. And so it's like implied, like, this is you know what this show is.
We don't need to tell you.
So
you know what you're here for.
I know.
Yeah, this is, like I said, it's so BL it hurts.
What's the name of the show? It's going to tell you exactly what the show is about.
Sasaki, male name. Miyano, still a male name. You're done. It's amusing, but not like laugh out loud funny. So it's not as funny as the dude who turns into a girl in the Isekai world.
Mm-hmm.
That was funny. This one's like, haha, yeah, all right, yeah, that was cute. Yeah. It had a really quick setup. You're just like, okay, I know what this is. Like, it was quick. You were like 2 minutes in. You're like, I know what we're watching. Like, if you watched this show for 2 minutes and you were like, I don't like gay stuff, you would immediately turn it off. You'd be like, done. And you'd be 100% justified. That is what this is. So I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote down a quote of Fudanshi lives in the shadows. I thought that was fun. That was nice. That was a nice touch. Yeah, that's it. It just follows all the rules. It follows all of the romance rules. Like, honestly, when we get the conflict that always happens, it's gonna follow those rules too. It is established. It is the this was a weird comparison. This is the My Hero Academia. So My Hero Academia of Shonen, right? My Hero Academia follows the shonen and it just kills it. Just boom, boom, boom. It gives you everything you want. And this is just the same, but for BL. Just everything. So, there's my comparison. That's what I liked.
That is accurate. Patrick, what do you like?
Yeah, that's a good comparison. I don't want to compare it to Kimi ni Todoke, but if they were both boys, I'll be like, yeah, I think this show is gonna, if it follows through with the promise, I'm like, okay, this show is gonna be about a romance of two boys. Let's just say I learned a lot watching the show, so that's always a bonus. I like learning, new things. But yeah, it's like Cori said, it's pretty straightforward. It was just like, let's just say if I was watching this for the first time, I'd be like, I was expecting this type of show to be this type of show. It had a lot of the cutesy moments. It had those two characters, some side characters thrown in there. The polar like the opposites kind of attracting, I guess. Kind of like, the big tall versus the, the dark petite versus the orange hair, bright extrovert person.
What was that anime we watched in the beginning of the season? With the knight, Richard.
War of the Roses?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yep, that one. This is that, but without all the other stuff.
Without all the yeah. See, I think the reason why this one was more, I would say this would be more
normal.
It's more grounded because it's just high school romance. It's not like crazy fantasy. And I think I give a lot of gripes with like isekais, and they just do the same like stuff they would do in the normal world, right? I'm like the guy turning into isekai turning to girl. Like, it's the same show, but why do we have to have that twist? I mean, that's kind of the whole the gimmick of it. But watching this show is like, it's a pure form of just like what you want to watch. Like you said, My Hero Academia or like Dragon Ball Z. You watch it just for that fighting and all that stuff. Watching this show, I expected it without no context, and this kind of be like my first show analyzing. I'm like, yeah, it checked all the boxes. It really did. And to me, I'm like, that's actually a praise for this show. For people, it's a weird thing because I'm like, if I knew someone like Vicky, I'd be like, Vicky, I found your show. This is for you. This is the show I would recommend to people who were, interested.
This is Fudanshi's first BL.
Yeah. It's
well, kind of.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Well, see, I don't know if there's anything more twist, because I think Vicky's clearly watched more of it.
I forgot. I had a thought. Okay, so this is the quintessential, and this is why it's just so like right on the line of like exactly what you're expecting. This is the story of because of the Fujioshis, for lack of a better term, that I've known. This is what they're looking for, because the dude, for all intents and purposes, both of them, for all intents and purposes, for the sake of the story, because we all know better, they're straight and they have to become awakened to their not straightness now, and that's what makes this show exactly what it is.
Yeah, in fact, the main character, he's kind of like, I would say, quote unquote self-insert if you were like a girl wanting to watch the material, because the main character's like, oh, I have some manga, but don't show anyone. Don't show anyone. Like that's kind of like the dynamic. I can imagine Vicky doing the exact same thing.
That is me to a T. I've
I was
seen
about
people
to say,
fan fiction. I'm
don't
like,
put
read
that
this.
on Vicky, and then she's like, yes.
Exactly. It's crazy. Like, no, but I guess that's why I like him. I mean, if I had to say something, I like that character because he's just like, he's kind of himself, but then he's still like, like he understands the like, oh, like no, don't tell him about it. But if you want to watch this, I'm trying to show you Naruto. But you're like, but don't tell people I know Naruto. Yo, Cori, watch the show. It's a great show, but don't tell people you watch the show.
This is why I don't have any like ridiculous paraphernalia. You're not gonna come to my house and judge me, goddammit. I'm gonna judge myself, and you're not gonna ever have the opportunity. I definitely identify with that part of the character.
Right, and it's just kind of funny to see like that character. But like, if there was ever a self-insert, I think this is the character like. Who people are like, oh, this is great. And he even says, yo, the story is crazy, right? The ending, yo, she explains some stuff, and the guy's like, oh, geez, he's too cute. He's too cute. And I'm
it's
like,
so pure.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. But no, it's, again, with that being said, like, yeah, I guess that's what I like about it. It's just, it feels like it's just an honest, like, simple. It's pretty basic, but it's just like an honest portrayal of these this genre, let's say. But yeah, that's what I like about it. How about you, Vicky?
It would be so long for me to be like all the things I love about it, just basically everything. Even though it's made by Studio Dean, who has some issues with like yaoi proportions, but they've improved along the way. Just like. The eyes are just great.
Oh, that's true.
The personalities are just amazing.
Can I say they have the weirdest eyeshadow ever? Like their eyeshadows are so like it was blended. I have no idea how they did, but that was new.
That's how you know they're romanceable.
Wait a minute. Sorry, I'm trying to remember. I watched a completely different anime, like a bunch of it. In this one. Because I watched it yesterday, now I don't remember. Did they have the weird, like, almost look like they're crying all the time, water looking, like, weird thing under their eyes? Or is that a different anime I'm talking about?
I'm thinking that's a different one.
Okay, never mind. I'm like, what did I watch? Because I watched, like, 9 episodes of Peach Boy Riverside, but I don't feel like that was the one that had it in there. But there was a show that I watched where it's, like, looked like everybody was crying constantly, and then I stopped noticing it.
Oh boy.
So now I'm like, what the heck was I watching? Yeah, it wasn't Peach Boy Riverside because I have it still on my screen. Alright.
I don't think this one, but like Sasuke had kind of like tiger-like eyes, and Miyano just had like pure, like just cute eyes. Oh, I love that. But also, I liked how you guys were saying the same with like it's just an honest portrayal. This is BL, which is boys love. Which is different than yaoi, which is like the X-rated, more likely version. Like they get more intense once it's called yaoi, but BL is just
Are you saying the BL scale? I was gonna say this is like a 4 out of 5, a 4 out of 10. Like this is just like it's calm.
It's very light.
It's light,
very calm. Just kind of like
a 4. I feel like the 4 is a little high.
Yeah, this seems pretty low. Yeah. This is probably like a 2 or maybe a 1. It's like pretty tame. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now I gotta make a BL scale.
Oh boy, that's a lot of anime.
I think if yaoi is on the same scale as hentai, I think we can convert pretty straightforward.
Kind of. But yaoi would be like the Demon Prince one that we watched.
Oh
boy.
Yeah.
That's just straight up yaoi. That's just a 10. But this, it explores like the relationship building and then like the friendship and just the story, and then from that organically growing this relationship, hopefully. So I just love this little honest moment. This is my like romantic comedy anime of choice type.
Mm-hmm.
Get all that straight stuff out of here. I want the boys.
I want the boys.
It's interesting, like you said, because like me and Cori clearly would watch Kimi ni Todaki, which is normal, the normal straight stuff.
Heteronormative.
But again, the comparison to it is like, yeah, it's just a normal high school romance. I'm sure they'll do some stuff in this show as well that, add some twists and turns and like misunderstandings. The usual drama of, right, high school romance. I'm like, yeah, I think it's the only main difference I can see is just like the gender, I guess, right? So I'm like,
yep.
All right, this seems pretty, honest take of it. So like, I guess it's, let's just say I could see myself watching this over other anime I've seen that we have seen before. You know what I'm saying? It's a little weird because there's some shows that we watched throughout our episode. I'm like, I don't even want to watch this, so I'm not even entertained. This, I could probably learn some new stuff from watching and be intrigued at least.
Would you, Patrick, because I think I already know Vicky's answer, would you watch this over the Isekai boy gets turned to a girl one?
Oh, I would want to watch both because I still want to watch the Isekai one. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that's going to be more slapstick and comedy. Mm-hmm. That's why I want to watch for it. But if I wanted to watch like a storyline, I think I would watch this. Because the Isekai one, I assume it's going to be just like not slice of life, but just like the overarching story may not be as heavy. It's going to be like, oh, they defeat the demon, da 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 da. But this one, I feel like, man, they're going to be the payoff to this. I feel like it's much higher stakes, let's say.
So I would say, because I don't actually like comparing this one to like a Komi-san or a Kimi ni Shidoke, because I think the relationship is more normal.
Sure.
But I would say that, I did watch Horimiya, so I'll compare this to Horimiya. So if this is Horimiya, the other one whose name I do not remember every single time I'm trying to refer to it, where the dude gets turned into a girl, that is like the other isekai where they bring an overpowered basically what happens is there's an angel who brings a guy from Japan, because Japan has the best isekai protagonist. It's a gag show. So yeah. And he is he's not a procrastinator. He over prepares. So I think it's called like the hero is over prepared
all the time, right?
And it's it's super. I liked it. It was really funny. That was what that is. Like they're isekais and it's silly and like just nonsense preparedness versus sort of just a straightforward like boy meets girl or boy meets boy and then da da da.
Like, can I say something? Because if this was two girls and it was all girls, right? And I would watch it. I would watch it the same way I would watch this show. I mean, granted, I'm a guy, and I would be more people would be intrigued watching a girl about two girls. Let's just say that off the bat. But that dynamic, like the gender difference, it feels very like, what is it? It feels pretty tame and simple as far as plot-driven stories. So for me, it's more relationship heavy versus wacky, random, sci-fi, whatever BS, right? Because like, if I want to watch that show, I would watch that show just for the phrases. But as for like a true romance, high school romance show, I'd be like, I could see this being the payoff to this. Again, the payoff to the show might be better than just saying, okay, they defeat the demon and the guy rescue the princess, like, and I guess another intriguing factor that this is be like my first like actual if I did want to watch this show. So I just want to see how like the ending for this type of how they do it portrayed versus like the hero save the world and whatever the time moves on.
I would say that I have not watched, like I've just not even been remotely interested in like the 2 or 3 female romantic shows that I've even heard about. Like I'm just like, don't care. Because there was one that came out like 2 seasons back. There was one that I think was on Netflix that may or may not have been the musical one.
Oh, right.
Carol and Tuesday?
Yeah, Carol and Tuesday.
Right.
I don't actually know much about that one, but I just was like, maybe, and never watched it.
Yeah.
Okay, so nobody knows. No. And then there was a third one, but I'm like, I don't actually care. Like it just doesn't interest me at all. So, question: if this is BL, what's the girl version?
The girl version is, which is odd, Yuri.
That's what I was wondering, because that's what I assumed. But then Yaoi is considered more hentai.
Yaoi is way more, not even more hentai, but it's more intense. Like,
okay.
Like they're definitely
Intense.
older. Generally, it's more intensity.
I see.
So it's not the erotic part; it's the content that is more intense, and both the drama and also the things that include things as far as violence or mature themes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like there's more of that, and then like the conclusions are more graphic.
Sure.
And with Yuri, usually it'll still be like schoolgirls and like moe moment.
So who are the audience for the various groups we've defined? So like BL, I think that's a little more universal. This is my assumption.
Mm-hmm.
Yuri, I don't actually know who the audience for that one is. Yaoi, Yuri but older, BL but older, or more mature at least. What is your thoughts or expertise?
I think the crowd for Yuri might be smaller than the crowd for Yaoi, but generally it'll go back and forth. Like if you're reading or playing games of the one, you'll try Yuri as well. Although I haven't seen too many Yuri anime. I mean, Utena, that's Yuri for sure. So I don't know, but audience-wise, it's anyone really. You never know. Fujoshi and Fudanshi live in the shadows.
They live in the darkness.
All right, everybody, this is the record. If Vicky has the unfortunate reality of passing away on her tombstone, it needs to say, in Japanese, mind you, Fudanshi specifically, not even a Fudoshi.
Yeah.
Fudanshi lives in the shadows. It just needs to say that now.
Fudanshi.
To confuse everyone.
I'm willing to pay that, however, $100 to engrave that to that stone. Like, add this little addition. Like, add a little addition to it.
I would get that tattooed.
Oh, please
but
don't.
In Japanese,
I
would get it tattooed.
Please don't.
It's a good phrase.
It's a good icebreaker.
Please. Look.
Yeah, so
all right.
We all kind of agree that this has been like a very sweet, similar to other budding romance types that we've seen. What don't you guys like about it? We'll start with Patrick.
You know what? It's just not a show for me. but again, like I said, with the praise I said for it, like I would be just still interested to see, like, just to watch it to see how it develops. And it's not really, that's not even like giving it a chance just to see. I just want to see how they portray, I think that's the interest, how people like start off with this as well, just like learning about this stuff. But yeah, it seems like I could tell what is going to happen, right? Because it feels pretty basic, and that's kind of what I may not like about it, because of it's just high school romance, and there's only so many ways you can kind of like make a twist to that show, right? For the drama moments. And again, I've seen a lot of high school romance, so I'm like, okay, what can I do with this type of premise, I guess. But yeah, basically it's just not really a show I would seek, honestly, right? Like a lot of these shows we wouldn't really seek unless we without this podcast, we wouldn't tell each other about these shows unless it was for this podcast. Like Vicky's not going to text me like, yo, watch this show.
I've tried to make you two watch anime for a long time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Right. We still haven't done it, Cori.
That's why this podcast exists, so I can force you to do what I want. Right.
Like watching Katana Gatsuri.
Oh man,
it's
a good show.
It's so good, and the art is so good. Oh my god!
Right, but that dialogue.
I was looking at my wallpaper, and there's another one here that showed up, and it's just so pretty. Okay,
right? No, yeah.
Sorry, you brought it up. You both haven't answered me. Should I try to get into any of the other Monogatari series?
No, you just watch Bake Monogatari. I believe is the first one. Bake Monogatari is I think that was like the first released one, right? And then watch that and see if you want to continue, because there is the deep hole after watching that series, because that introduces like the main character, whatnot, and then there's a bunch of side characters that flew out throughout the other Gotharis. But I mean, the first step is watch that one and then see if you want to continue. And then you don't need to watch them in any particular order because that's the issue.
Okay. Vicky, thoughts on that one real quick?
I think it would take the rest of your life to watch the Monogatari series. It's just so much, so dense.
It's a lot.
Kataragatari already is a lot.
If you like the dialogue choices,
Yeah.
I mean, like in Kataragatari, it's kind of still portrayed in that same. They have those dialogue scenes and it's a lot of conversations, like Katanagatari, but it's condensed into a 30-minute show, so it's more digestible, I would say. But yeah,
I might pull that around if I can find it. And
I mean,
watch 30 minutes of ads.
There are a lot of good memes that came from that show because of the content. So I mean, you'll know what I'm talking about when you watch the show. You'll be like, that's gonna be on the meme.
Gotcha. Okay, back on track. Sorry.
But no, the show not for me. But I swear, if I watch Utena for Vicky, I could watch this for you, Vicky, but I would not want to. I would not want to.
It would be under duress.
Yes. Utena was at least interesting because again, it has this fantastical, magical world of it, and just like, oh, that's interesting. At least the cowbell, like as stupid as things are in Utena, I'm like, yes, at least it was trying to do something. I don't know what it is still.
You heard that, everybody. Utena was stupid.
It has its moments.
It's stupid moments. It needs more cowbell.
It's different.
It's different, yes.
It's a thinker.
There you go.
Thinker
in a bad way or good way?
Okay.
How about you, Cori?
I heard someone do a whole video on it, and I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, no. As far as this show, I wrote asking permission, and asked permission, and I don't remember why I wrote that down. But why are they actually into each other? I'm not actually sure. Like
that's true.
Dude's just like, he's so cute, but he's a guy. Okay.
he questions himself like, no, that's a guy. No, that's a guy still, and he's like, he feels his arm is like, no, this is a guy.
Yeah, like I'm like, okay. And then of course at the end of the episode, he like makes a very straightforward and then kind of plays it off question and then never, deals with it. And you're just like, okay, do you identify as someone who is interested in dudes, or what the fuck are you? What's up, dude? So I don't know. Not my type of show in that regard, but it's all right. It's all right.
It gets the job done.
It gets the job done. Like I when we get to the section of will you watch it again, I will expound more. I did want to say one thing that is more or less an inside joke. Baking is cooking, Vicky. Don't let him lie. Don't let his bullshit.
Baking is different.
It ain't different as shit. No.
Baking is so different than cooking.
No, it's not.
Look, you gotta measure stuff. There's you gotta calculate stuff in numbers and measurements. Come on.
Yeah.
Totally
like
different
science
animal.
Or cooking.
It is
like
different.
baking. It's
like
same. It's like
it's
chemistry.
like wolves and dogs.
It is chemistry. No. It's chemistry. It's
wolves and
chemistry.
dogs.
Bullshit.
Wait a minute. Who's pro baking and who versus cooking? I'm pro baking.
Baking and cooking are the same thing.
Baking and cooking are totally different.
You bake food in an oven. You bake fish in an oven. You bake a cake. You bake a pie. You can make a pot pie in a skillet.
You don't cook in the oven.
Yes, you do.
Whoa, wait a minute.
God.
No one cooks in the oven.
Is broiling different?
Yes, it's if I use a crock pot, am I baking?
Ridiculous human being. Oh my god, so silly. She's gonna tell us. What do you call microwaving? Is microwaving something else?
That's the main wolf of the metaphor. It's totally different animal.
So silly. Baking and cooking are the same thing. You can look it up. They're the same. They're the same.
Totally. Totally different things.
The actual process in which we apply heat to something to make it more edible is not doesn't make it not a cooking. It's a preparation of food for consumption.
Like it's a different technique, but I still think they were the same family. If there was a family of cooking, they would be in a similar, like at the very top, right? But then they would branch off other techniques. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But they're still.
You can
like
okay. Let me just say this. Let me say.
She got me there.
I'm gonna mute your universe real quick. So I've done this. You can cook an egg without using heat. And it is a preparation of the egg where you use salt and sugar and it dries it out, prevents all the bacteria from being in the food, and then you eat it. Is it the most delicious way to eat an egg? No. Is it the disgusting way that will kill you? No. It's just a way to prepare an egg. But it is considered cooking. It is a chemical interaction. It's an application of heat or salt or sugar or something else. Just like when you put things together, like preparing lettuce and cutting carrots and other things, that is preparation of food. It's all the same category. And if you want to call it baking or cooking or microwaving or broiling or whatever, steaming, barbecuing, it's all preparation of food, which we call cooking.
Well, we'll see next time we're cooking a cake.
Sure.
Ooh.
You cook the cake in the oven. You cook the cake in the oven by turning on the oven, and you bake it at 450 because it's the same thing. Okay, I'm done.
Totally different.
I'm done.
Other than his Sasuke's assertion that baking and cooking are separate, what else don't you like about Sasuke?
No. That was it. I wanted to make sure that I said that in case you caught that and wanted to get on my case about it, so I get on your case first. Because as we know, like any bully, if I say the thing first, everyone believes me. No, but that was it. I don't know why are they actually into each other. Like they're clearly into each other, but like why? Because I don't know. I don't know why I would ask permission, but I don't have a lot of negatives.
That question is the ultimate question. It's just that's just high school romance. That's the show.
Yeah. So I got no real like negatives. I just need to remind Vicky that cooking and baking are the same thing. So what didn't you like, Vicky?
I mentioned it earlier about Studio Dean did this, and they have issues with yaoi proportions, which is it'll be like the uke will have just like super petite features compared to the seme, and they'll be like super long or elongated like hands or arms and things. They've grown a lot since their earlier days. I'm looking at you, Get Backers. Good God.
I watch Get Backers. Everybody thinks it's bad, and it's not that great.
I dislike it so much.
You dislike it a lot less than I would think, but yeah, it's fine. It is what it is.
I suffered through it for a friend, and it was only like the first season.
But there is only one season. It was not that popular. The manga is longer.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 12 episodes, maybe 24 of Get Backers. I've watched it all, though.
I only did 12. Yeah. Could not do the second half. But, I mean, they got a lot better, but it's still there. Like, just noticing, like, the angles being bad. Another thing is, the generic reasons of why people find someone attractive, like, oh, that's a nice figure, but it's a boy, right? It's like the whole back and forth questioning and being like, oh, he's so cute, but he's a boy. And it's like, yeah, we get it. He's a boy.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
You don't have to keep mentioning it to yourself like every 5 minutes.
Right.
I wish it was a girl. I would love these twists. I would love these twists if they just like fully play off. It's one gender, and then like horror. Like I love that twist. Just play that up.
Yeah, they do a similar thing in Peach Boy Riverside, and then there's another anime I'm thinking of that we watched. Bisco.
Yeah, Panda Sensei.
Yeah.
Oh, spoilers for me.
No, this is the first episode.
actual guy.
Are you talking about Pandas' thing?
Yeah, Pandas.
And they were like,
yeah.
oh, that's what. Oh, I see.
Yeah. Bisco's a girl. Like.
They fall in love.
Like,
oh my goodness.
Hey, that sounds like a great show.
You know what? Vicky, Cori, there's some moments in that show where Vicky would love just to watch Bisco. Like, some scenes get intense.
Man.
There's some sense.
Oh man,
yep.
they basically flirt. Like it's like for a show with a big old titty lady with the rod in her hand all the time.
And mushrooms.
Those two guys and mushrooms. Those two guys get close. Like,
yeah, they do.
It's not like it's not Yuri, but it's they're toying around with it. It's like Sasuke and Naruto kissing. It's like not that service. Bad, literally. Yeah, it's fan service. Thank you. That's the word. Fan service.
And I am here for it because that's why shows like this get made. There's so little of it in the world that like anything can get made, and we'll sop it up because we're starving.
I get the opinion that there's a lot of manga, just not a lot of anime that is BL.
Oh, right. That's true. Like
tons of manga.
Tons of manga, but you're right. But actually, mainstream anime,
like,
probably low.
Like there's a lot of BL, just tons of it. But the anime BL is relatively low. You know,
they just gotta pick a good one, like
number 7. I've only watched like to completion so many BL. I've read a little bit of Legal Drug. I've watched all of number 7. I don't know what else.
Nope, I don't think I've actually completed
Yuri on Ice.
Man, okay, so let me just say this. Yuri on Ice is too gay compared to this, and that's why every time I watched that episode, I was just telling you, like, so gay. It's just so gay, Vicky.
It's just so good.
Show.
It's so good.
Because
it's BL without being in the genre of BL. It's just like, this is a sports anime.
Yeah.
And also,
it's a BL,
coach and athlete fall in love.
It's a BL fan service sports anime. So I could follow the sports anime and be like, cool. But then the BL stuff was just like, I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need, like, I get it. I don't want to say don't have this, because for every Keijo, there should probably be a Yuri on Ice.
Yeah.
Because Keijo's pretty ridiculous. But it's also good. But also, Yuri on Ice is more tame than Keijo by a lot. And I'm still like, oh my god, this is so, I don't even. But I watched it and I finished it. So, yeah, Yuri on Ice, I forgot about that. So, Vicky, you gonna watch the rest of the show?
I think I will, because
She's
I've been lacking in my. I wish I was on my thought process to just like binge watch the whole season. You should
have. Zane would have highly appreciated it.
I think I will keep watching it. Like, I think I'll watch the rest of the episodes. Just.
Well, if you ever finish it, let me know the ending. That's all I want to know.
Did this come out last season?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
It came out. I thought it was 2022.
Well, we're technically in the second season of the year, so
probably
yeah. We're in April now, so just to ask the question to myself, I would watch this if Vicky was like, "That's what we're going to do every week." I'd be like, "Okay, I'll watch it with you." I'm not going to watch it on my own. But I also feel like what you both said about Kimi ni Todoke is like, I know the ending. I don't need to watch it.
Right.
So, in that same vein, I will use your statement to apply to this one. It's like, I know how this ends. I'm good. But I would watch it with Vicky or someone else who was like, yeah, let's watch this. We'll be like, all right, fine.
The thing is, with this being slice of life, and we know there's other, like, ensemble boys, I'm thinking they might break up the season into like other romances that pop up, and I am here for that. Oh, I can't wait.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And that's like I said, this is it's a good by the numbers romance. It happens to have 100% boys all day long. There are no females anywhere.
Well, it makes sense because it's an all boys school. That makes sense. That's not
as far as we know. As far as we know, who knows? There might be girls on the basement. I have no idea.
You gonna watch it, Patrick?
No, I'm gonna use you as I'm gonna take your opinion if you ever finish it and see what happens. Because if you just tell me the story of what happens, like okay, drama this, drama that, I'm like okay, that sounds normal, K-drama stuff, like basic, just basic rom-com stuff, misunderstandings, rival characters, the whole, right? One girl. Oh, jeez, that's a good twist.
That would be it.
I would watch that episode and only that episode. I'm back in.
A girl arrives.
But no, yeah, I will not watch this. Continue to watch this show. It seems pretty basic.
It basically is.
Yeah.
It's very basic.
Would you introduce? So this is similar to the question that I have later, but I have a couple questions. I'm going to repeat a previous question because I want a better answer. I don't think I got the answer I was looking for. But the first part is: would you use this show to introduce people into BL?
Oh yeah. Yes, this is very like low intensity, just kind of like a thing that, like, in fact, it even kind of lightly in the universe itself introduces like someone that's not in the know to like this secret society. It's a gateway, as they say.
This
gateway.
This is a show that Vicky would, tell someone like if I'm reading this manga, you give me this, and then depending on the response, like the guy character, Vicky be like, oh, you like this show? Well, I have more stuff, Let me lend you some other manga, and then like you gauge the bar with that stuff, right?
Oh, you like this?
Yeah.
Okay, well here's another one that has that, but also
a little bit more.
And then like the covers start to change little by little. The numbers start to increase. There's a plus sign on it. Like wait a minute.
They start having a cover on it to.
There's an A. There's a giant A on the. On the bag, I believe there's like an A on it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
I didn't figure out what that means, but maybe that means adult or something.
I don't know. I was just.
It can't, because he was always like, don't show the contents of the bag.
Right.
Like, you wouldn't be like, don't show the contents of the bag while having a bag that says this is adult.
It's just an A though,
But if the actual cover was worse than the bag,
oh yeah,
you were like, please don't. Right. I don't know. It was weird that it has an A on it.
But that's where my mind went to. So I mean,
well, yeah, I would definitely show this to someone and be like, hey, check this out.
So I have so many questions. Who would you want to show this to? Other than us, of course.
Well, I feel like my sister is on that list, but not as like, because she's never seen anything like it. She's read my fanfic and all of that. So when I've watched other BL or yaoi, she's like seen it from the background, but we've never like watched it together. I don't know if she's into like romance shows, but I would show anyone that's into the tropey romance rom-com slice of life. So actually, you, Cori, would probably be like, hey, I know you're into rom-coms and slice of life. Here you go. It's off the beaten path, but
right.
They're hitting those same marks.
Yeah. I think again, it's hitting the romantic beats. I can answer that question too, Cori. It's just like that's a really tough question because like no one's gonna be like kind of be openly about like, yo, I like these type of shows. I mean, it's just kind of how the territory is, sort of with like your hobbies or whatever. Like I like cosplaying, I guess that's more acceptable nowadays. But then it's like, oh, you like anime? Back in the day, right? You was just kind of like, that wasn't really a thing until you find your group, and then you could totally be, oh, I like anime, like with us. But I have this like in the back of my mind whenever I meet someone, and if they, slightly introduce me like, oh, you like this type of shows? I would like, you like, what shows you like? And then they'll tell me like, okay, I can introduce this show to you. But I feel like it's tough because no one's gonna be openly saying, "I like BL shows." You know,
Mhm.
I'm a fujoshi.
Yeah. Even now I'm thinking, I'm like, I could probably show this one girl I know, but I don't know if if she'd like be into BL or if she'd be like, whoa, what is this? So it's like, it's that same sense of foreboding, Miyano had when he was like, do I show him what I'm actually reading or do I like get out of it somehow?
So last podcast episode we did My Dress Up Darling.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, yep.
And I said that Marin was the final level of Vicky.
Mm.
So how does the final level of Vicky not worry about spreading the joy of BL, right?
Because Fudanshi live in the shadows.
She would just be like,
No.
He was all over.
No.
Fudanshi live in the shadows.
No, I think it's like you wouldn't openly just be like, "Hey, this is what I like." You know, I'm pretty sure Vicky would wear clothes and like she had like her, you know, her little figurines and stuff, right? But you wouldn't openly be like imposing on other people. Let's say, like it's just, it's like if you see someone wearing a Goku gi, right? You're like, oh, that guy likes Dragon Ball Z, but he's not openly like saying, he's not yelling to the world, I like Dragon Ball Z. He's just like, oh, I respect that. Yeah, you like Goku. I think if they ask her, I think that the next step is if they ask, you know, Vicky about like, oh, what is that? And then she would then give her spiel, right? It's not like you don't openly give it out. It's just a little signifier, like, I like this stuff too. Just like with Marin, right? She's like, the guy was like disrespecting her because like, oh, that's an anime thing, you know? But then if you approach it just like, oh, what is that? And then I'm sure she would have then became like, oh, this is this show. It's about this and this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I'll walk around in my Yuri on Ice pants, but I'm not gonna go to a convention where I don't have it, and I might not want to have it, but a Hegao's hoodie with all the faces.
Oh boy.
I might not. It's a difference of like that level.
Yeah, that's a statement.
But what other questions you got for us?
Okay, so I previously asked, who is it for? Like, BL, right?
It's for everyone.
It's for everyone. It's for everyone.
Who is searching for it?
I can't even say it's just women because there's also dudes that are into it, and it's like that's a smaller subsection, but it's kind of like, it's a bit like what did we just watch with the boy and he's making dolls, and it's a one girl thought it was
just a doll,
yeah. Like it's like him, like very early on having that experience with the dolls and being like fascinated by it, where it's not necessarily something someone would be seeing out like anywhere. So it's kind of like some people fall into it, some people are introduced to it, but I don't think anyone like goes and like searches for it until they've had either a falling in or an introduction.
Right.
It's kind of like
obviously, I've made it very clear that I think this is the same show, but it's boy instead of boy girl or girl.
Yeah.
And so, if that's true, technically, if I like ABC, it doesn't matter. It should not matter. It clearly does, but we've also had the same thing happen on your end, where you're just like, I do not care.
Right. Oh, yeah, this is crazy.
This is not interesting to me. Like, I recognize it's good, but I don't give a
Hold on. Cori is playing 5D chess with you, Vicky. Holy cow. Holy crap. Wait a minute. I just realized what he was setting up. This was the whole plan all along. Cori, Vicky, leave while you can.
Woo!
Oh my goodness. I think Cori brings a good point, because I think that's what I was trying to say with my praise of the show. It's like, yeah, it's just a romance show, regardless about if it was boy or girl, it would be like Kimi no Todoke, you know, a very tame show, and you can tell like they're gonna end together. That's it. the betweens don't matter. But if it's since it's boy boy or even girl girl, my instinct would be like, yeah, it's still the same idea, just high school romance, whatever the case, right? But the fact that there is a, the gender plays into a big part. And for me and Cori, we're like, same, there's two boys. Okay, we're not interested. But then Vicky, you have the same mindset of, it's boy and girl. It's some normal stuff. Nah, I want a twist, at least a twist on it. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
It's very, I wouldn't even say it's very like differentiated like that, because there's got to be an audience where they don't care. They just want romance.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I'm sure they're out there. I just happen to.
But there must be boys. There's another checkbox.
The first time I heard that there were people, women, girls, who liked the idea of a dude who was straight being turned, like, I don't know if that's the right phrasing, but
that's the phrasing you hear. Yeah.
Discover that they like men now. Like, that is a logic that I am a little bit like, I don't get it. Like, I just don't. Like, I don't care, but it's like, you want to see a guy fall in love with another guy, but they didn't originally like guys until they did, and that's the story. Like, that is a lot.
I'm gonna tell you that premise of a love overcoming set conformities. That's
can I say something? Vicky, I got you. It's the taboos, and it is similar to like step sibling. Right? It's different. Okay, it's totally different, but I'm saying like that taboo is like, you could watch some normal stuff, or you could watch this, this other stuff. Like the main character the main character's father marries a mother, and their they have to room with each other, right? Like in the anime, like that's kind of been like a thing, right? And like how their stepsons, and it's kind of like No Game No Life as well. It's kind of like what? Like they didn't need to do that. They didn't need to do certain things.
I mean, I thought you were talking about Domestic Girlfriend, but now you're talking about
Domestic Girlfriend. I think that's the one. Domestic Girlfriend.
Yeah, that's the one where so here's Domestic Girlfriend, because I watched one episode and I was like, never mind. Dude hooks up with a girl and finds out that not only is that girl now the daughter of his mom's husband, but also his teacher, who he's been lusting after, is the older sister of the girl he hooked up with.
Wow.
Right.
And now they all are in the same house.
That is wild.
And let me be clear. It's not like he was dating her and hooked up with her. He just straight up slept with her and was like one night standing kind of. And it was like a mutual. It wasn't like she was like, oh my God. It was just like, that's what they did. And you're just like, this story.
Yeah, wow. That's a lot of drama. Like that's a mess, and that is interesting.
Yeah.
And that I might watch that.
Right.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, see, Vicky is interested in that because
just from the mess,
right? Because the
mess.
It
is a trash fire from everything I've heard about it. Oh, and let me just say this: the ending is nonsensically insane. Not because it doesn't make sense, but it just goes through every hoop you could. Like it was like, these are the options. Pick one. And it was like, no, all the options.
Wow.
And I only know that because I watched Giglex video about that. So, bam, Domestic Girlfriend.
Right.
Domestic Girlfriend.
I think it's maybe 12 episodes.
I might have to binge that instead of Sasuke and Miyano.
or read the manga. I think the manga's supposed to be better. I don't know. Anyway.
Right. No, I think to your point is like that's inherently interesting more because of the drama and the weird situation rather than a normal high school thing, right? They're like, oh yeah, that's whatever, but that's just more interesting. I guess it depends on a person's taste, honestly, right? I wouldn't introduce that to no one really.
It feels like the stakes are higher. Like it's a power play to show someone like BL. Like they'll be like, oh, I've been watching this cutesy rom-com. And then it'd be like, oh, I know of a rom-com too. and then it's a BL one. That's a power play. That's like a counter, way more unnecessarily
Okay.
intense than it has to.
I think Vicky just really is likes power plays because
No,
I don't recommend anime for people to be like.
I see what you mean.
Prove it. I'm like, hey, this is awesome. You should watch Hidaten. Hey, everybody, watch Hidaten.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say on caveats.
Okay. Watch the second episode of Hidaten and move forward. But honestly, like Hidaten's really good.
Yeah.
But I like to talk to people about cool stuff. And I like to think of new ideas and hear out things and experience new worlds and all that fun stuff. So books and movies and stuff is cool. And anime is good because it's from Japan. So they usually, even though, you get used to the tropes, give you something from a slightly different perspective. And like, they're clearly not as worried about, like, compared to American culture with at least their anime at minimum with homosexuality or just like very unclear, like, sexual or orientations. Like they do not give a crap. Utena, the girl in Utena who's like Utena's best friend, is fucking in love with Utena, but she's as straight as it can be, except Utena. Like it's really unclear and they don't care about explaining it, and that is a consistent thing. I'll say the one thing about Japan is, in anime at least, they do this thing that I really wish they'd stop doing, which is that they would have a gay man who's extremely stereotypical, and he always has a 5 o'clock shadow. Always. And it's just... Well, specifically in One Punch Man, there's Pretty Prisoner, and he is a joke of being gay. Like, it's not... The gay part isn't funny, it's just the stereotype. It's like just a stereotype. And then there's like Super Ally Dark Shine, so, get the black people racism in there too. But the point is that when it comes to the gay man representation in anime, when they are just like gay to be gay, it's just not, it's more of a joke instead of I'm a person. Like that's the other thing about the show. Like these guys are gay. Who cares? It's a show about them liking each other and figuring that out. They're not like flirting with everybody with a high-pitched voice and sticking their butt out and wearing tight clothes or wearing having something that shows their midriff or any of the stereotypes that you see in every show where they just have a gay male character who may or may not dress up like in drag or something. It's not great, but the show doesn't do that. So.
We're always all for better representation of marginalized groups. Because it's not all stereotypes. People are people.
But with that being said, because my broader follow-up question was, how do you get people to watch BL? It sounds like you just do power plays.
I mean, that's a simple move, Ricky. You just hey, I recommend this show. Watch it, and then you see how they react. I mean, step one, do that. Step 2 is question marks, and then step 3 is profit. So
yeah, basically, this podcast is my platform to make people watch PL, specifically YouTube.
No, damn it, I know
it's working. It's working. Yeah. I mean, I'm still not. Again, unless you're just like Cori, just watch it. Let's go right now. I'm like, all right. I'll watch it. Like, this is not something that I would be like, compared to Utena, this is like fantastic. Like, I'm down. Utena,
I like Utena
again,
better.
I think Utena, I know, that's, because when you said that, I'm like, no, man, I'll never watch Utena again.
Better, yo. Utena's better than the show.
Again, the problem I have with Utena, I think, has more to do with how they made it, and less than what they made. I think the general gist of Utena is fine, if not great. But I think
you just don't like some character choices.
I don't like the entire way that the anime was created. I don't like. Like the constant musical. It was the same music. It was the same scene. It was over and over again. it wasn't clear about anything. The fights were boring, and the set pieces in those, like the actual objects in the fights when they had like cars on their ends and stuff,
God, yeah.
just boring, and like the just random like queer baiting was like, all right, I don't care about this dude with his shirt off who's clearly trying to bang Utena, but also the other guy who they're both trying to bang Utena, but not really, but like, okay, but also they're gonna be super gay with each other, but nobody cares because they're not. Like, I don't care. This show is dumb, and that's half my problem with Utena.
I feel like I want to watch Utena all over again.
Go for it. You enjoy
it's so good.
It's a
show.
So
popular.
It's a show. After a second watch, like, because you're gonna be aware of like the weird parts.
Bored. I would be
thing.
bored out of my mind. Like it took me a year to watch Utena.
It's complete nonsense. I tell you. But
considering that I can marathon 11 episodes in a day and be like, that was a good day, and then it took me a year to watch Utena. I didn't like Utena. Like. It's very clear. I watched it because I'm like, I'm gonna watch it. I am a man of my word, and I'm gonna make Vicky watch something else that's good. But she's gonna make me watch Utena. So.
Yep.
But yeah, I just who seeks out shows of varying kinds, right? Like Marin as a if she was a real person, right? If Marin's a real person, she's clearly really into that Arrow game, which
she would watch BL.
Probably. She'd be watching Yaoi all day long, like, or maybe I don't know.
Probably
that's the thing that's a little bit. Again, Japan does not explain sexuality of its characters at all, and it doesn't seem like it cares to. It's like it's not interested, and maybe that's fine and that's a good thing. But like, Marin is such a character where she's like, yeah, I'm into this character, but it doesn't seem like she's sexually attracted to the character. It just seems like she's just into it. And I'm like, the game, the sequel of a different game, is an Arrow game. It's an erotic game. So the purpose is what, like, and I don't like visual novels anyway. So that's like 3 levels of like, I don't like this part anyway. I think it's slow and boring. But then the whole part that is not that is sexual in nature. And she's just into the characters. So yeah.
I mean, a lot of anime probably are spawned from visual novels that do have some explicit material.
Really some. I don't know if it's a lot though.
Well, not focused, but like it's just like the ending payoff or something like that. Let's say like it's just like a couple of scenes, right? I don't know.
Well,
I'm going.
Well, like two anime I know for certain that are based off of visual novels that were or have been Arrow game in the past are Fate Stay Night and give me a second. I gotta say the whole name. Utaware no Mono. Utaware Re no. Oh fuck! It's such a long title. I have to look at it. Off the top of my head, it's hard to say, but Utaware Re no Mono.
Is that like the old Japan kind of anime? Or is it not?
No.
Okay, never mind.
It is a fantasy anime, but it was based on a visual novel Arrowgate thing. Right. And I watched the anime years ago, and I was like, it's meh. And I think they even made a second season, but it was whatever. But Fate Stay Night, which is hugely popular now, and has been for several years. Yep. Yeah, that was, Arrowgate all over the place.
I mean, a lot of famous authors and writers, come from doujins. Like, I mean, Vicky would probably know, but that's just kind of like the material you work with, and then it gets popular. Ergo,
Pokemon manga.
And the episode 2 and the other shows that Idaten created. The other artists, like, it's just,
that makes sense. I think we talked about that, but I've forgotten about it.
Right, yes, exactly. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry I told you that. I'm sorry to break your heart every time, Corey. But no, it's just
it's okay. Daten is just that good. It's just that good. It really is. The story is so good.
See,
all right.
The passion that you're feeling is the same way Vicky says. The storyline is so good.
Yes.
So good.
What you just said, the story is so good despite the bad parts, that was me last season.
Yes.
Again.
That was her
Again.
episode 2.
You can compare the worst 10 minutes
I'm not saying
to the most normal 1 minute, and I'm still be like,
No, yeah.
I'm not saying the depravities of either should be compared. It's just that it was at a level that I could keep going. And so it was at a level that you could keep going.
Right.
Buddy Dotson has a really good story. It does.
I mean, Vicky says this.
I think
It's an argument. It's a really good story.
I know.
I hope there's a second season, please.
I think didn't they confirm it already?
Boy.
I don't know. Anyway, I was under the. I think that the vast majority of people, if they were to watch both, even the first episode would be like kind of interesting for that show and kind of interesting for my show.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the more they watch, the more they're like, okay, this is just to be generous.
No, I'm sorry, I can't. No,
fantasy,
I'm sorry. I'm on Vicky's. I'm sorry on this one. The story.
You think the story for that is as good or better?
I'm not picking a side. Which Dotson's obviously better, but then I'm just saying, like Vicky, people would say, I guess it's just a tasting, right? I guess back to your point, where like who are interested in these type of shows, you know,
if you strip away parts of it.
Please don't say strip away.
Setting you up. Let's go. Okay. If you unclothe away the certain part of the story is what shines. With this eternal argument that we're always gonna have, the eternal debate, it's kind of like, yeah, but I think people are just gonna, you know, they just, whether or not they discover this type of anime, BL or Yuri, whatever type of show, it's, if you bear it down to like the romance or whatever, like it's, I mean, there's a big reason why like those shows, like I said, like, or even stop having to use as an example, Twilight or 50 Shades of Grey, or, you know, there's a reason why they're popular and we don't get a lot of it, like Vicky was saying, and when you do, I don't really see the surprise of it blowing up, because this is the one standpoint that they have versus the other generic shows that we have, Cori. We have a lot of shows, Cori, but Vicky doesn't.
That's true. That's 100% true. But that's why I asked the question, like, who is this? How do you get people to find it and say, like, this is interesting? Because when you recommend
all
something
about secret society.
Yeah.
It's all about the undertones and the black market.
Right. Again, no one's going to openly deliver that information out loud. It has to be, you know, within comfortable settings.
But
panels after dark.
Yeah.
Okay, but okay, first off, this one doesn't even need that. But unless everybody's afraid of gay people. Because again, I think that if we want a world where we are closer to being equal than we are now, that we want to be able to figure out how to share everything that is otherwise the same but with a twist to everyone who may be interested in it. Because good American cartoons are just as good as good Japanese cartoons, right?
Whoa.
Like, you tell me that, and I'm going to call out some particularly old cartoons at this point, but like a Darkwing Duck or a Batman the Animated Series or a couple of the other ones that were really good back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And those aren't even like the best American cartoons, but there's some top tier American cartoons. And you compare them to about the same level, right? There are some good Japanese cartoons, right? And you can just go back and forth, right? And there's other countries with other media and so on, but you know, we know those two the best. I forget how many years ago it was, but like, why is it that when people try to make things equal, they separate more than they need? So like, I don't need to go on Netflix and have a section that says black comedies. It's like, how about it's a comedy with black people? How about you just focus on the right part, right? Black romance doesn't need to be differentiated. Just give me some romance, and then I can watch my what was that movie? Crazy Rich Asians. But I can also watch. I can't think of any other movies. That was the one that came to mind. But with different people of different races and cultures and such, it doesn't have to be differentiated. Yeah, we can. And it might be helpful if that's what you're looking for. You got that flavor. Because obviously, if you want to watch a K-drama, cool. Right? And if they have certain tropes that you like in there, great. But also, and there's other reasons, and there's good reasons and everything. But if we're trying to get to the point where we don't always want to notice the first this, the first that, or we don't want to say like, well, this is, but it's gay, or this, but it's straight, or this, but it's blah. I just let's have it all apply, and then we can individually. But that takes us, that makes us do work. Individuals have to do work. That's the real.
I don't think it's possible because then you run the risk of things that are minor but important to many people being overrun by the majority ruling says, like, it gets lost in the sauce, so to speak.
I guess my
it's a good wish.
My short-term solution is I don't want the only way to find what I want is if I have to add an extra adjective every time. I want it to be both. I want it to be, I can type in comedy and I can find movies made by various people and also the majority people who've been making it wherever. I don't care. Like, if I'm in India, it'd be great if the various kinds of people in India could look up a thing and all those kinds of people are somewhere in there. Even if I really want to find it, I need to go specifically to this. That would be my middle ground, because we don't normalize normal stuff if we treat it like it's different. And I'm not saying ignore the differences. The differences are important. I am saying that we have to be able to categorize and put it into smaller categories as necessary, but that still has to be in the broader category, right? So that people can find it, right? Because if I've never watched Number 7 or watched Yuri on Ice, and this is the first time, it's going to be like, oh, this is like this, but not. Because I've watched Number 7, and Number 7 was like, all right, that's too much. And I watched Yuri on Ice, I'm like, that's way too much. But then I watched the other show about the dude turning the girl, I'm like, hilarious, right? And so there's clearly a limit in which I'm comfortable, and there's clearly a limit where I'm not. And so I'm never going to get more comfortable if I don't have the option to see it. And I'm not going to get the option if it's siloed. Right?
But that's why
anime used to be super underground by the 70s. It was just all like VHS tapes and you had to get them, Yeah. But obviously with greater access and Pokemon and Dragon Ball, it became more and more popular and more profitable to just throw it out there, with the controversies that come from that kind of thing. But Japanese culture is going to become more and more intertwined with American culture because of anime. And it has. It clearly has. I mean, look at Teen Titans Go.
That's why I said with things like BL, people don't really look for it until they've either been introduced or they fall into it. And you fell into it. And so at that point, you become a seeker and you can find more things, but it is hard because it's not so mainstream. It'd be great if it were mainstream, but like a famous character said, Futanshi live in the shadows.
I think
shine some light on those, man.
I think the same process of Vicky finding this show is the same process of you and Cori, you and me finding about Dragon Ball Z and like, oh, this is what anime is, right? It's just we just happen to stumble upon it, and we have a friend or we look it up our own self and like, oh, there's more than just ninjas and swordsmen. There are cool guys who fight with their fists, and there's a lot of other things that I think it's the same discovery process as like maybe we just were introduced into it, and so we'll never know it. Like, there's a timeline where we don't ever watch anime and we don't care about it. But since you're just through people or through media, like it's kind of crazy to me if I've never watched Yu-Gi-Oh. Like that's or Pokemon, right? Like that creates childhoods, and then that's the outlet to the gateway for people to kind of discover anime. Same thing with like other shows, like or just different genres, right? Like maybe there's a person who never watched horror movies or even the Saw series, right? And like, I watched this movie. It's crazy. It's called The Saw. It's about people dying, and now I'm like a Saw gory. Now I want to watch slasher flicks. Now I'm into like Jason, all that stuff. Like, I think that's kind of like the deep hole where if someone needs to be introduced into it first before they ever actually like dive in and become like a connoisseur of like, I am this person. This is what the media I seek for, and they become, let's say, it's like the only media that they will seek out, and so they don't become introduced to other things. But I think for the easy access of like genres and everything, it's just comfortable. It's just comfort media, I guess. And so the person that watches Saw movies are going to keep seeking that type of media over and over again. And maybe they will only consume that media. Same with like Marvel and DC, right? You pick a team and like you just ride that team. You don't care about the other movies. You pick a team and you pick a genre. That's it. Cori, you love rom-coms and fighting and cool shit. That's great. Vicky likes this stuff, which is also great. But that's clearly like the team that you kind of like support. But you're not, as long as you don't like, I mean, some arguments come between us where like we just kind of like give it off, like, oh, I don't care about this show because it's not what I want to continue watch, right?
Sure. I'm Team Marvel.
Yeah.
Cori's Team DC.
Exactly.
Bullshit. Don't even. You literally see 3 different Spider-Man displays displayed. Give me some more money. Display. They don't give me shit. They give me the things I pay for.
Sponsor us.
I hate you right now. I hate you because you just said that. So mad at you for saying that. Because I really don't. Like, Zane, he loves himself some Batman. Batman, great. Cool. Spider-Man kicked Batman's ass. All right.
I'm just saying, in terms of rom-com, DC is very straight, and Marvel historically has been very open.
Hold on. I don't know what she's saying now. I don't know what she's trying to say.
Yeah. Look. First off, DC has way too many black characters whose first superhero name is black.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, Marvel has... now, we're getting all off topic.
But how am I supposed to know?
Marvel has a character named Black Tom Cassidy. He is not black. And I'm like...
Look, Cori, they were ahead of the time. They're like anime producers. I gotta put it within the name so people know that this hero knows what I'm talking about. Black Panther.
We can't call him...
It's about Black Panther.
No, we can't call him Lightning. No one will know he's black.
Yeah, the show of the hero, the name of this hero gives you the context, right? Wolverine, the Beast, Cyclops, Black Panther, Black Hawk, Black Lightning.
At least Black
Nubian.
Panther,
Or someone like
outside of the fact that he's an African king, makes sense. Like, it actually, like, it is the...
That's
okay. We're totally... we're going off the rails.
Well, what are we watching next week,
Okay,
Patrick?
I'm watching the best show. I'm going to get us back onto the train of the best show ever called Spy X Family.
Yeah!
The best show of the season.
I'm going to watch every episode before we record.
Yeah.
That's a guarantee. I know that because we're not even recording next week, so I got 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're gonna. Okay, this may be our first show. If you all follow through, we're gonna watch all of the season, and we could come back on this next recording. But like, this show.
Actually, I don't think like maybe 5 episodes are out right now. Mm-hmm. I don't actually know, but
yes, this show.
I've been waiting to watch the show for like 2 years.
Yeah, there's a lot of hype, and I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah,
a lot of hope for the show and hype for the show. So, Spike's Family.
I can't find anything good for my week, and we'll probably watch GTO. I've been talking about it for like a year and a half, so
that's a good pick.
See. I have no idea how to find GTO right now.
We can ask Vicky.
Acquirable.
But to be fair, though, I have GTO, so I can stream it. But that's a whole other thing. Yeah. Good podcast.
Yes.
We did what we do, which is we talk about it, we make jokes, and then I make it way too serious for no good reason. But I'm super excited to watch Spy X Family. Everything I've heard about it has been exactly what I expected. And, man, people are loving the daughter in that show. Who,
Wow.
Yes.
man.
Well, next episode, hear us rave about Spy X Family.
I mean, hopefully. If it's bad, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be really upset if I don't like it.
Possible first reviews that have ever said anything bad about Spy X Family.
Probably not, but hopefully if...
It'll be one of those where it's like, we have like 20 things to say that are good, and then it's like, so what's bad? Well, it's kind of like this episode. What's bad?
Nothing.
Not enough episodes.
Episode
The
2
music was
wild.
too good.
Oh, sorry. I just gotta keep pulling that string. It's so good. All right.
Well, folks, I've been joined tonight by Cori.
You know what? BL ain't so bad.
And Patrick.
You know what? Like another show that Cori endorses, love is love, man.
Shut up.
Love is love.
Shut your face.
And I am the Fujoshi in the shadows, Vicky. Thanks again for listening to Taku Katsu. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.